of the function. The function is y is equal minus 2x squared minus 8x minus 7. So the function is quadratic function in the standard form. So let me write first the general formula of quadratic function in standard form. We can write is equal with the a x squared plus bx plus c. So this is the formula for the quadratic function in standard form. So a is the leading coefficient of quadratic function, b is a coefficient in front of the x, and c is a constant. So now let me graph this function here. When we graph the function, we find the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is equal with the x. X is equal with the formula minus b over 2a. And here the leading coefficient a is equal with minus 2. So we try to find out those variables. The coefficient b is equal with minus 8. B is equal with minus 8. And the constant c is equal with minus 7. So those are important information that we get from this formula here and from this equation. And then we find the x. What is the x? So instead now of the values here, what we have, let me plug in the numerical values. B is equal to minus 8. So let me write here minus 8 in parentheses. And 2 times a, 2 times minus 2. And we want to find out what is the axis of symmetry, x. And negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 8. And here 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. And when we divide the 8 divided by minus 4 is equal to minus 2. So axis of symmetry is minus 2. So now here we already know. Let me take a different color here and let me draw here a line. So axis of symmetry is a line that goes here in the x where is minus 2. So let me draw this line here. This line is something like this. And it continues. So x is equal to minus 2. So now we want to find the y. When we want to find the vertex, we find the x, axis of symmetry, and this value here, we plug in the equation, in the function. Instead of the x, we plug in minus 2 to find the y. So now we take the formula y is equal. Whenever we have a x, we plug a minus 2. So but minus 2 is a coefficient here, leading coefficient is minus 2. And instead of the x, I'm going to plug here minus 2. And is a square, because x is a square. This x is square, so that is a square. And then is a minus 8. Instead of the x, I'm plugging minus 2. And let's find out what it is. And we have minus 7. And it's going to be equal. Negative 2 squared is 4. Times negative 2 is negative 8. And now, negative times negative here is a positive. And 8 times 2 is a 16. So this is 16. And now, negative 7 is in that. If you look in here, 16, negative 8, negative 5 is negative 15. Plus 16 is equal with 1. So y is equal with 1. So y is equal with 1. And now vertex here is going to be, we take the value of the axis of symmetry as a minus 2. This is the vertex. And y is equal with 1. And I'm going now to find this point. So x is negative 2 and y is equal with 1 is this point here. This point. But to find the y-intercept is a very easy information and is very easy to find when we have in a standard form. Y-intercept is if we plug in x is equal to 0, so y is minus 7. But in other words, y-intercept, let me write here, intercept is always is equal with c when we have in standard form. And in our case, c is minus 7, so minus 7 is here. But I know in the other point that parabola has to go, because axis of symmetry divides parabola in two equal sides, the other point is going to be here. Now I have already 3 points. If I have 3 points, then I can draw parabola. So let me draw with a green color. And now we are in the business. And now we are drawing the parabola. So we are sketching the graph. And now we're going in the other side. So we're going slowly. And this is the parabola of quadratic equation in the standard form, that is y is equal to minus 2x squared minus 8x minus 7.